Hi, I'm James Minick of Minick Law and a proud foster parent here in Buncombe County. Today we're going to be talking about the rights of foster children and of foster parents. In North Carolina, the North Carolina General Assembly has given foster children kind of a Bill of Rights, so to speak, has kind of outlined certain rights that foster kids have. It's not an exclusive list of rights, but is meant to be kind of a guideline for the basic rights that foster kids have that are in the foster care system. The first right that foster kids have is the right to have a safe foster home, which is free of violence, abuse, neglect, and danger. Secondly, foster kids have first priority regarding placement in a home with siblings. Third, foster children have the ability to communicate with the assigned social worker or a caseworker overseeing the child's case and have calls made to the social worker or caseworker returned within a reasonable period of time. Fourth right for foster kids that is outlined in that Bill of Rights is that foster children have the right to remain in the school system that they were in prior to coming into foster care, if at all possible. And basically what the purpose of this is that Buncombe County, we have multiple school districts for somebody that is coming into the foster care system, for a child that's coming into the foster care system. Every attempt will be made by Buncombe County DSS to place that child in a foster home that is within that school district, or at least to put them with a foster parent or foster parents that can help get that child back and forth to the school that they were involved with before coming into care. The fifth right of foster kids under the Bill of Rights in North Carolina is that when a child is removed from the home, the social worker that is involved in the case, the investigative social worker, will immediately begin conducting an investigation to identify and locate all grandparents, adult siblings, and other adult relatives of the child to provide those persons with specific information and an explanation of various options to participate in the placement of the child. The sixth right of foster kids under the Bill of Rights is the ability to participate in school and extracurricular activities, community events, and religious practices. And again, this is more true for older kids in the foster care system that are engaged in these types of activities or may have particular religious practices that they're used to. The seventh right of foster kids under the Express Bill of Rights is that they have the ability to have their biological parents be involved if there are any immunizations received while they are in foster care. That if there's immunizations, vaccinations that are received during the time that the child is in foster care, that the biological or birth family is involved in any decisions regarding immunizations and vaccinations. The eighth right that is outlined under the Bill of Rights for foster kids in North Carolina is the ability to have access and establish to and establish a bank account or savings account, and that is to give them a little bit of financial freedom. Again, this is something that is more age dependent. As a kid is getting older, as a foster child is getting older, there needs to be more financial freedom. It also helps for the child that is in foster care to learn financial responsibility, which is part of kind of the plan for older kids that might be aging out of the foster care system. So it's important for foster children, again, particularly those in their teenage years, to have access to a bank account or a savings account. The ninth right that is outlined in the Bill of Rights for foster kids is the right that they get access to certain documents: their birth certificate, their social security card, and their medical records, that by the age of 16 they have access to have copies of those documents for their own records. The 10th right of children in the foster care system is the right to have communication with their siblings if the child is not placed in foster care with their siblings, if they're separated from their siblings during the time that they're in foster care. The 11th right that is outlined in the Bill of Rights related to foster kids is that they have the ability to meaningfully participate in a transition plan if they are being phased out of foster care. So again, this is really only applicable to older kids that are aging out or phasing out of foster care. And this includes participation in family team meetings, treatment team meetings, and even school meetings. So we talked about some of the rights that foster kids have that were outlined in kind of the Bill of Rights for foster children. Not really kind of a Bill of Rights for foster parents, but there are certain kind of statutory rights that have been recognized by the General Assembly related to foster parents. One right that foster parents have in North Carolina is the right to know all relevant information about the child prior to the child coming into care, as well as all information obtained during care. Foster parents also have a right and a duty to be notified and participate in agency team meetings related to the child in their care. There are any number of individuals that are involved in these team meetings, and foster parents are one of those entities that are involved in the team meeting, and it's important to have as many voices that are able to kind of talk about the health of the child, the mental health, how everything is going in the home. You want to have as much input as we possibly can to make sure that all of the foster child's needs are being met. In addition to being having a voice in team meetings, foster parents also have a right to be notified of and participate in certain court hearings. Foster parents also have the ability to seek a termination of parental rights related to the biological family of the child or whoever does have parental rights over the child in a very limited situation. If the child has resided with the foster parent or foster parents for a continuous 2-year period immediately prior to requesting a termination of parental rights, it is possible for a foster family to petition for such a termination. Foster families also have the right, foster parents also have the right to have adoption assistance if there is a adoption of a special needs child coming out of foster care. There are certain tax credits that can be applicable with a special needs child, but there is also, in addition to those federal tax credits and whatever state tax credits there might be available in the in any adoption, but particularly an adoption involving a foster child, there is also what is called adoption assistance, and that is assistance that is provided post-adoption because of the fact that the child was in foster care at the time, and that typically kind of is in the form of a monthly stipend that continues after the child is really truly out of foster care and actually has been permanently placed with an adoptive family.